If I don't film this now, I never will. I've been putting this off for the longest time because, I don't know, it's just been chaotic. None of my planners are working for me. I was too stressed about blurring out stuff I didn't want you guys to see or things like that. But then I realized, isn't the point of Techo Kaigi supposed to be planner conference? So we're here. We're gonna converse about what's working, what's not working. I brought out this paper pad that I got from Daiso in Japan, and it just has nice paper that's actually surprisingly fountain pen friendly. So the reason I brought it out is because it's a nice big sheet of paper that I can use to help me and help you guys see, so I can plan out my planners. It is now August, so it's not mid-year anymore. I was gonna do a mid-year update, and you know, it's just not working. So we're gonna call this, it's like 3/4 of a year meetup, whatever. 3/4 year mid-year review. I think I'll call it a mid-year review because it's gonna be for the first half of my year anyways. Mid-year planner review. Wow, this is actually working like a marker. This is the Mahjong C1. It is a clear demonstrator pen and it has a bent nib. It is currently inked with Stipula Calamo Black. I don't really like it, but it came in handy for things like this. So I'm just gonna grab through my planner bags. They're at my feet because I don't have enough room on my table, and we'll just go through each one. This is my A5 Hobonichi cover, and this is actually probably the easiest planner journal to go through. We have 2 notebooks in here. This one is one I started this year, and originally I was going to color in every square to see the final result of all the inks that I've ever used, but I gave up pretty early on. So I use this to write down every single pen that I have inked and the pen and ink combination, and I plan to use this until forever basically. So January 3rd we inked up my Platinum 3776 with Aurora Blue, and yeah, it's just been like that since. Actually, did I ever change the ink? I know I changed the ink to something else, but did I write that down? I did notice that I'm not very good at, oh my gosh, when did I change it? Because I know I took out the converter and put in a cartridge. Apparently I never wrote it. I thought I'd had that inked for months. Whatever. Sometimes I remember to do it and sometimes I don't. I'm not gonna be too upset at myself about it because the whole point is for it to be fun to document what I use. Anyway, second notebook is this Good Impressions, and I was kind of not going to use this. Originally I was using it. It's a carryover from last year. I journal about pen related things in here, mostly to talk myself out of purchasing new ones. And then I was also doing currently inked and stationery wish lists. This has good Tomoe River number 9 paper. But what happened was eventually I realized that in my other notebook I had extra pages, so it didn't make sense to waste those pages, so I ended up moving my currently inked over to my Hobonichi. So okay, first we have our ink and pen combo notebook. I'm gonna abbreviate because we don't have all the time in the world. This was a Hobo blank grid A5 with the old Tomoe River paper. I bought a bunch of those to last me forever. Not forever, but a few years. What would I call this one? It was gonna be like my ink journal. Why don't I call it my pen and ink diary? Because I was journaling. I have to talk myself out of purchases or reason with myself. I'm like, oh, I have this and I have this. That's the thing. Pen and ink diary. This is the Good Impressions. Good Impressions A5. This has also old Tomoe River paper, but it's machine 9 in a cream. The reason I'm writing down what paper it is because that's very important to me, because I found that if the paper isn't what I want it to be with the fountain pens that I use, it is really aggravating and off-putting. So let's go over this one. We have this wonderful faux leather cover that my sister gifted to me. I believe she got it at Target, and It came with its own insert, but I did take it out. I'm gonna move this. It comes with this pocket for tech and pencils and stuff. I don't really use it. I did put a bunch of washi cards in there and then some stickers. We have the A5 Hobonichi blank grid with the botanical cover. Like I said, I bought a whole bunch of these. This is actually a very private journal. My idea was that I was replacing my Hobonichi cousin because we're not gonna get into Hobonichi and why it pisses me off. There are many reasons, but I wanted to replicate the daily journaling part of the cousin. So that's what this was. January to June. And then I also left enough for extra notes and stuff. And what happened was, this was good. It's just that there's more pages than needed for a half year, but not enough pages for a full year. So that's why I split it up. But I did my Colorverse color event in here, and I did a lot of extra pages. I used it for the hoo-hoo markers, and a lot of the things that I filmed for this year, I put in the extra pages of this notebook. So that's why I didn't need that good impressions one. I even put my resolutions, and guess what? I haven't looked at this page. I don't know why I even bother. My 25 resolutions in 2025. Maybe I'll look at it by the end of the year, but I don't know why I even bother doing this. I'll probably do it again. So I was also doing bingo. I saw this idea. I decided to do a monthly bingo, but the concept is that to get yourself to do tasks that might be hard for you, you write it into a bingo card, and whenever you complete the task, you can cross it out, and then you can reward yourself. So I was trying to reward myself with stationery spending money, and guess what happened? I didn't do the bingo card, and I'm still buying stationery, so that didn't work out very well. I drew out the card for several months, and then I don't know, didn't work. This is another video I had filmed, and then we had some more video filming. You guys have probably already seen it because it's just in the videos. And then I did some personal currently inks and things like that, and some scribbles. I think I was trying to empty pens, and I had song lyrics in my head. Oh, she's sweet but psycho, a little bit psycho. Okay, yeah, so this was another page of me just trying to empty pens. I don't know why I feel compelled to not waste my ink, even though I have probably a lifetime of ink at this point, and I'm always trying to scribble away on these pages. It makes cool art, but it does give me carpal tunnel. So I really had to stop doing this. This was me emptying pens on a page that I wasn't a fan of. This was me testing the waterproofness of all of my inks. Okay. And then we get to January. I thought it would be cool to write a big word for that day and then elaborate on it while I was journaling. And that lasted for a little bit, but it didn't last for that long because I think a lot of what happened is that there was a big life transition that I experienced this year, which was mainly planning a wedding very quickly and then moving in with my husband. So I'm still adjusting to that, but because of that, I'm all over the place and none of my planners are working for me. February, I decorated. March, I didn't even decorate because I was so deep in wedding planning. April, we got a little bit of ourselves back. It's interesting because if you actually go near the wedding planning era of this journal, the pages are blank. So it's interesting that the busier you are, the less time you have for your journals and memory keeping. Isn't that weird? May, we did do one for June. This was a plane ticket that I had tipped in and a journal entry from my plotter. So my plotter is probably the only thing that I've been using pretty consistently. I wish I could show you more, but I'm just not going to. In the back, I have more extra pages. So for the third one, we had a daily journal, and I had actually gone in and stamped every single page with the date, because if I don't limit myself to one page, I can write like 6 pages, and then it fills up my notebook way too quick, and I'm just kind of journaling for too long, and it gives me hand cramps, and it's just ruminating over stuff sometimes, which is why I like the Hobonichi cousin so much, because I was limiting myself to 1 page per day. Sometimes there's overflow, but sometimes, most days, it's enough. And then this year, actually, I ran into the issue where I was struggling to fill the A5 page, which has never really happened to me before. But I was feeling guilty leaving these pages blank because I had predated them. So I'm actually not going to use this again for the second half of the year. Daily journal. This was the Hobo A5 grid blank old TRP. All right, this is the parallel planner. It is created by Ludite, Luddite. I bought it at Blick Arts and it is in an A5 slim size. And it turns out I didn't really research what this actually meant. This is how I used to plan in my Hobonichi cousin in the weeklies. I just kind of make a list for each day of things to do. It only worked for about 4 weeks for me. I tried vertical journaling. It's an undated planner and it doesn't have enough weeks to last you a year, but it works if you're planner hopping. I think what I've learned in this whole thing is that I shouldn't planner hop. I know it works for a lot of people, but I think even though I would get bored of some notebooks, it might make my life easier if I just stuck to it, because this is just not working for me. It's got Monday through Sunday, and then on the left hand side we have 1 through 10. The top section you're kind of supposed to write your tasks, and then the bottom section you can write more tasks and then kind of use it like a Gantt chart to track your progress, I think. And I think that's the concept of the parallel planning. Yeah, and I didn't realize that until I read this part. So I don't know, it's fountain pen friendly, but I don't really know how to use it. I tried to use it in that way, and what I ended up doing was just ignoring all of my tasks. I don't know what that means. I think I'm just giving myself too many tasks for the everyday and setting the bar too high for myself, and then being upset at myself for not achieving it. Does anyone else have that? I got really excited when I bought this though, because I was like, I can have a weekly insert with my daily journaling, and it didn't really happen. So here's another failed. Not failed, but it didn't work for me. Ludite, how do you spell it? I was really excited to get this and share it with you guys. They have a whole bunch of other ones too, of other small planners like this, and they're very affordable. They're like $6. And they're fountain pen friendly. There was no bleed through. I'll have to do a pen test one day. Ludite, parallel, insert planner. This was supposed to be my weekly undated. I'm sorry, I've screwed up the writing format. Gosh, we're getting bad over here. Let's hurry up because I don't want to make this too long. This is my A6 Hobonichi 5-year planner. It's actually just the one piece from 2023, and I don't use any of these. I just use the dailies. I can't show you, but I wrote out 2023, 2024, and now it's 2025, and I write about a few lines a day, and it's mostly gratitude, because the one time on first day that I started this notebook, I wrote down that someone I knew got COVID and it affected the plans we had that day, and it was a very negative experience. So every time I go back to it, I remember that, and I realized early on that I don't want to be reflecting on negative things, so I tried very, very hard to find something that I'm grateful for that day, which some days it's like, oh, I binged One Piece for hours, or I washed a bedding today. Something very small that I feel like I accomplished, and then I'm just gonna do that for 5 years. And it's good to be able to reflect and see what you did last year on that day. 5-year planner was an A6 Hobo Techo. I don't remember what those are called. And that actually did have the old Tomoe River paper too. You might see a theme. I might be sounding very particular about it. I think I am. Okay, so in an effort to combat the lack of a Hobonichi cousin in my life, we have the R Studio notebook in here. And I'm very sad to inform you that I don't think I like this planner, and I don't think I'll be getting it again for next year, because I set it up and I pretty much gave up in April, and I even swore off of it in June, but now I'm kind of back in it. So I'll show you 1 week of it. I had all these plans to make it very aesthetic. I bought washi, I bought vintage style stickers, I bought PET tape. I was gonna decorate it and do all these very aesthetic memory keeping and planning thing. And it kind of worked for a little bit, and then it really didn't work for me. Eventually, I was doing a daily to-do list, and I think I overwhelmed myself with it from the wedding planning. And then I was doing just journaling my health and feelings, and that also didn't work. And then I tried to do songs that I was interested in, and then that didn't work. So the reason I kept trying is because I'm cheap, and if I buy something, I want to see it through to the end, even if I don't enjoy it very much, because I don't like to waste the things I spent money on. I tried meal planning in it, and that worked for about 2 to 3 weeks until it didn't. And then I tried to go back to journaling again, and then I tried to do ink swatches in it, which I thought, oh, I'll just use this for ink swatches, until that happened. So these 3 swatches were perfectly fine, but this one bled through. And now, this week, I'm literally back to trying it again. I was like, let me decorate it as cute as I could possibly make it and use it to help me plan my YouTube tasks. Because I was practically doing One Book July in my Hobonichi Weeks. Oh my gosh, it's all over the place. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are not even listening to this video anymore, because it's all, to me, it's all just a big disaster. But this was supposed to be my weekly planning, weekly and monthly, because I needed a monthly, and this was the R's Studio. And I tried meal planning, inking, I tried, what did I say, health journaling, and now I'm back to YouTube planning. So this video is kind of making me uncomfortable, so I'm gonna try to make it even faster, because I feel like I'm not providing good information, and I'm kind of just complaining about why my planners aren't working. Anyway, this was my Traveler's Company notebook. It's still very beautiful. I cut open one of their plastic folders because I wanted to protect this from the cover. This is holding notes and washi and post-its. I did get a monthly, and I actually write down the pen shows, because even though I'm probably not going to any this year, I like to know about community events that are happening. And I also write down if I've posted YouTube shorts or affiliate things have happened. I just joined Endlesspens affiliate program, and because I still haven't gotten a schedule down, I keep my video ideas on these post-it notes. I had to reinforce the post-it notes, and then I kind of move it around as needed. So that was in the monthly insert. In the weekly insert, this was one from 2024 that Simone graciously gave to me, and I redated for 2025. And I was using this for just a to-do list weekly of things I needed to do for my Etsy shop and for my YouTube. And why did this not work out? It didn't work out because I was starting to get overwhelmed with having a planner that was separate from my life planner, and because of that, I was neglecting this a lot. Even though I'd write down the stuff, I wouldn't actually do it, because I think I need to plan out of one planner and then break off from there. Otherwise, I'll only do what I remember. I wasn't working on stuff that I wanted to because I was focused on life stuff, and this planner was just sitting on the shelf, even though I would go and write my tasks in every week. So maybe it's a me thing and not my planners. I also got tired of redating. I did it ahead of time, but the aesthetic just didn't work for me because I put washi down for every week, and by the time I'd gotten there, I didn't want to use that one anymore. So once that finished up at the end of June, I kind of stopped using it, but now I've kind of been in limbo, and I started adding my YouTube planning to my Hobonichi Weeks. So my Hobonichi Weeks has an indentation from this freaking zipper, which is kind of a bummer. You think they'd design it better. I can't show you the monthlies because I use it to track finances. That's actually going pretty well. I did that in 2024, and I was using it as a health tracker. So I would write how I was feeling and I would track my habits. And that actually did not end up working. So eventually, around the same time that I abandoned my R Studio planner, I decided to move into this one for my life stuff. And actually, it's been working pretty good. Let me just flip through it really fast. I have been having a good time decorating it and whatnot. But like I said, because the YouTube stuff was separate, I wasn't working on it. So then one week, I went back to the Ludite planner, and then I used this for my health because I was neglecting my health because I don't have a health tracker anymore. And then that didn't work. When my YouTube one ended, I stopped using the R Studio, and I stopped using the Ludite planner, and I stopped using the Traveler's Notebook, which was the YouTube one. I put it all in here, YouTube, Etsy, Life, etc. And then it got really overwhelming, but that worked for a little bit until it didn't, and it stopped working literally last week. So now here we are this week doing Etsy, Life, and then in the other planner we're doing YouTube and stuff. And then of course in the back I have finance tracker stuff, so I'm not going to show you that. And then I have things I've baked. I tried using this recently. We only have 2 minutes left on this SD card, so I'm not gonna even go through this. The only thing that's been kind of working is my plotter. I already went over this in my plotter video, but I also started doing YouTube brainstorming in here, and pen club, pen tests in here, and grocery lists, a YouTube planning thing. So this has actually been very nice. The plotter is the only one that's been helpful for me this year, which is kind of interesting, which kind of makes sense because it's the only planner that you can remove things and move things around, which might be what I need. I don't know. I'm sorry. This was a disaster of a video. I don't know if I'll post it. I'm racing the camera right now. So here are all of my planners that are not working for me right now, and I've definitely been experimenting and using other planners for August and July, and we'll see what we can do for 2026. If you actually watched this video through the end, thank you so much. I'm really sorry it was more of a chaotic complaint about the mess that is my life right now. I updated the list. It's probably really confusing, but Hobonichi Weeks was for life and finances. The plotter was for grocery, anything, and everyday carry. The YouTube was for TN standard, and we already talked about the rest. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a beautiful day and that you have a better time in your planners right now than I do. I've been using little to-do lists, just notepads. It's bad.